Hello, I'm Marcia Myrie, your health and wellness, lifestyle, and mindset coach. Welcome home. So I'm outside again in my community center and just building on some of the things that we talked about last week. Being mindful, practicing some mindfulness, being intentional of coming outside, taking in my surroundings, the oasis, the natural beauty that sometimes we take for granted that's in our neighborhoods. You can hear the background, the birds are chirping, the sun is beautiful, it's bright, so I'm getting my natural vitamin D. And the overall health and wellness, the overall natural way of stress management, reducing the cortisol levels so that I can be healthy in the most natural, graceful way to integrate it into my life. And so what I wanted to do today, and if I have time, I do have one topic I want to introduce. But I wanted to kind of review some of the things that we talked about. Now I'm in nature, so I might have to, there was a bee, not the ones that stings, but I wanted to review some of the topics that we discussed since I began this YouTube channel, Just One Coach. Just giving us an opportunity to review, to know the purpose of why I'm here and what I'm inviting you to do each time you stop by in our sessions. It's actually been about 20 days because I began this channel on April 1st. And I introduced who I am, my background, and then I went into talking about some basic skills and some of the skills that I want to kind of focus on and just remind you, really is about a refresher today, is acknowledging the fact we all have goals, aspirations, dreams, desires. And you and I both have been inundated with information on health, wellness, literally any topic that you and I are interested in. If there's anything that we aspire to do, aspire to be, do or have, if there's anything, it's already been said and done. The information is there. So it's not, I'm actually not, it is not my goal to try to rehash the information that's already there. It is my goal and my objective of helping you achieve said goals. Achieve the things you want to be, do, and have. And that's a little different. And that's what coaching comes into play. It's me helping you to share strategies, tips, hacks, so that you can actually put into action the things that you say you want. So we talk about, everybody wants to be healthy. I don't know anybody who does not want to be healthy. And if I talk to people about health, it's almost like they have a PhD in the topic, in the subject, because from soup to nuts, they can tell you what they should eat, what they should do, what they shouldn't do, how much they should exercise, the types of diets, intermittent fasting. I mean, it's endless. We all know the information that's out there. I am not trying to get you to be a vegan, to eat a Mediterranean diet. There's to eat a low carb diet, to a grapefruit diet. You name it, the diets, we have heard them all. I am here to help you take the step and actually consistently do whatever diet plan you choose. Not to convince you to do one, because you already know the answers, but it's to help you overcome those things that have been a barrier to you. And so we talked about mindset, overcoming automatic negative thoughts and thinking, overcoming the excuses, and tapping more into what is driving you. What is your reason for being, doing, and having? Because when you are able to get grounded in those things, then it becomes more achievable and sustainable to be, do, and have whatever it is that you want. We also talked about a little bit about mindfulness, because the truth of the matter is sometimes we just have to clear our heads. We have a lot of fog, call it brain fog, things that are clouding our minds and our vision and our decision. We talked about decision fatigue, always going back and forth with yourself once you make a goal, a decision. We talked about ways of eliminating the internal negotiating, the internal battle, hacks to override you self-sabotaging, taking one step in front of the other, agreeing that once you make a plan, when you have a sober mind, we call it sober thinking, and you have established a plan, not going back and forth with yourself, is eliminating decision fatigue. We talked a little bit about that. And then we talked about SMART goals. Now, SMART goals is a term I will use repetitively, because whatever you want to be, do, and have, it has to take place within a span of time. And so SMART goals helps to pull in to reality, pull into time the thought, the thing, the goal that you are achieving. And we do that by using the acronym SMART, making that goal specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. That's what each letter stands for. We talked about that because who you are is the sum total of the thoughts that you have and the action steps that you take. And that only happens within a 24-hour billfold. We talked about that. I think that was on Friday. We have 24 hours in a day. That is our budget. And so I wanted to just kind of let you know why I'm here. It's about helping you reframe your mind, adapt your thinking to support your goals. And there are so many different hacks, there's so many different topics to help you achieve that. Time. We're gonna talk a lot about how you are using and compartmentalizing your day. And all of this is to get to some of the root causes and conditions to help support your goal. I want to talk about bookending your days. Just think about like a bookshelf. You have these bookends to help keep the books upright and steady. That is what I want you to think about when you think about your day. So bookending means how you start your day once you wake up and how you end your day just before you go to your bed. So we're considering the beginning of your day, and that could be whatever time that you are going to make. Not have, because we all have, remember we established that we all have the same 24 hours. But what time do you want to take in the mornings once you wake up to prime, to set, to establish, to command, to take authority, to set your day? It doesn't matter what words you want to use. Based on who you are will dictate the terminology that you would like to use. That is the first bookend. And then the end of your day, just before you go to bed, that's your wind down time, your mini Sabbath. You're setting up to rest and to relax before you close your eyes and go to sleep, to restore yourself during that sleep. So let's talk about the morning. What are some things that when you think about helps to get your day started off to a really good start, that makes you feel empowered, that makes you feel good, energized, makes you say, ah. And when you look back and you think back during a period of time in your life where you were clicking on all cylinders and things were going well, and you say, you know what, I used to do this in the mornings to really start my day. I always felt good when I did this in the morning before I start my day. You know, if you and I was sitting one-on-one, we would go into what we would call a brainstorming session. And in that brainstorming session, I would get permission from you to throw out a few ideas. You would throw out a few ideas. We would kind of ping pong it, going back and forth, writing down a list of things that made you feel good in the morning. For an example, some people might say, I have a really good day when I start off my morning having a really good exercise. Some people love to get up in the morning and go straight out to exercise. Others might want to get up in the morning and have a cup of coffee and tea, a little quiet time, journal. Others might start their day with a morning prayer, reading a spiritual book, journaling. There's so many various ways, but most of the time, and it's been researched, so evidence-based and best practices, those two words, when we start our morning off in a way that helps us get grounded or connect in a spiritual way, and or do something to elevate our heart rate, such as exercise. People who begin their day in a meaningful, intentional, spiritual, or way that increases their health, their exercise, tend to have dynamic days compared to those who do not. And you are more focused and have more clarity. Because a lot of achieving the goals is based on having clarity of mind, being more focused. And all of what I shared promotes clarity of mind and having more focus. So it could be whatever. And I know you have heard great inspirational, motivational speakers tell you and suggest all these things. People who are involved in the religious sects, you have been told, and you know all of the great ways to start your day. I'm here to encourage you to actually put that as part of your SMART goal. And if you haven't done anything in the past month, past 6 months, if this is like something you have been aspiring to do, but every morning you're just jumping out of the bed with enough time to get to work and you're not doing any of these things, I will suggest to start small. Use 15 minutes to bookend your morning to do whatever you want to do. Write it down and make it a SMART goal. Make it very specific. So if for the next 7 days, when you wake up in the morning, you set your clock for 15 minutes earlier to do 1 or 2 things, or do 3 things. You do 5 minutes, maybe sitting still and taking a few deep breaths for 5 minutes. Another 5 minutes, you might do some prayers. Another 5 minutes, you might read from a book or a spiritual book or the Bible. Or you might take 5 minutes to journal, or you might take 5 minutes to stretch, or you might take 5 minutes just to sit still. Whatever it is, 15 minutes is a good start, and you can always build on it. And track it. Track what it is that you're doing so that you can see how you feel at the start of the goal. And after 1 week, kind of check in with yourself to see how you feel at the end of the 7 days. See how your days, is there any difference? How is there any difference? What are you noticing about yourself? So that's the beginning of your day, bookending your day. And now bookending in the evening, before you lay your head on the pillow. What are some things you can do once again to settle your soul, settle your mind? Many people I work with deal with a mind that is racing, and it interrupts the quality of their sleep. Their minds are ruminating. And oftentimes what helps that, evidence-based and best practices, is slowing down your mind or emptying your thoughts on paper. So what are some things you can do just to relax just before bed? Being intentional. Once again, if we're in a session, brainstorm. Maybe you take a hot shower. You would disconnect from media, from your phone, from social media, from the television. You would turn down the lights in your house to signal to your brain it's time for sleep. You may journal. Write down all of the thoughts that are running in your mind. Prepare a list for the next day. Once again, I know you have heard tons of recommendations and suggestions, but how you are going to now integrate it in your life is by making it a SMART goal. Once again, you start small. Not a whole hour, it's 15 minutes. Take one action item. So very specific, you might decide, you know what, I'm gonna write my thoughts on paper. I might journal, make a to-do list, but I'm gonna do something to write so I can get all these thoughts out of my head and put it on paper. And maybe that can help me sleep a little sounder, increase my sleep hygiene quality, not just the quantity, which is the amount of hours I should get rest, but the amount of hours. Well, we're gonna stop there because I'm so way over. And I told you, I have to give myself these boundaries because I really can go a really long time talking about it. But I just wanted to do a review today and to give you something concrete, bookending your days to make a SMART goal for the next 7 days. Again, I'm asking you, if this information resonates with you, please share it with others, your loved ones. You want to comment, give me some ideas that you have to bookend your mornings and your evenings. Write it in the comment. Let's get a conversation going. And if you're struggling with something specific, write that there too. I can incorporate that in some of my sessions going forward. And remember, if you want to get one-on-one coaching with me, go to my webpage at justonecoach.com. I look forward to seeing you one-on-one as well in our next session. Remember, lasting change often begins with just one decision and sometimes just one coach.